Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne Stampin' Up. Here we are at the beginning of August. I don't know where the summer's gone, but beginning of August is here right now, as of today. So, of course it's Monday, so we'll make another card. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator located here in Simcoe, Ontario. If you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, feel free to shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com. or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So today we're going to make a card using the Beautiful Hues of Happiness suite. You can buy the bundle, which is just the stamps and dies, for $68, but if you buy the suite you get the DSP thrown in and you get the beautiful gems in here as well. These gems are just lovely colours and they work really well. They go nicely with your in colours for this year. So let me put that to the side. As I say, on page 109, this is where you'll find the suite, and this is what we're going to use today. And this paper here with the beautiful roses on is what we're going to use. So I'm just going to pop this catalogue out of the way. Hope it stays there. And I'll show you the papers. This is the paper, and one sheet is all pinks and yellow flowers and the other is the blue, what is it called, Starry Sky, Fresh Freesia, Pool Party. It's got some beautiful colours in there and they're lovely papers. I have already cut out the flowers just to save time. You get the dies, and the largest die there cuts out these beautiful flowers here. Now don't discount a flower that's off the side of the paper, because if you are stacking flowers together you could tuck that one underneath and nobody would know that you didn't have the whole flower there. So don't throw those away. You've also got a die that cuts out the group of leaves, and you've got a die that cuts out the twos of leaves. Okay, so to save time I have already cut out my flowers and leaves this morning. So what we have is we have a piece of Whisper White, basic white cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 for your basic card base. I've got a mat which is 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, now there's got to be a correct order to this card, because we're going to both cut some parts out and we're going to emboss it. We're going to use the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, which is an older folder. No, actually it's in this year's catalogue still. It's 1050, it's on page I think 170 or somewhere like that, 175. But it's called Pretty Flowers and it's a really nice flower, and it sort of resembles the roses that we're going to put on the front of the card. So the other die, the dies we're going to use are called Split Card Texture Dies. You get 2 in a package. They're on page, let me think, annual catalogue page 39, page 174. They're $39, but they're beautiful dies. They really are, and they cut your paper on an angle. They don't cut the edge of your paper, they just mark it, but they do cut out all the parts in between. The stamp set we're going to use is Happiness Abounds, and it's got some beautiful sentiments in there. It's really a pretty set, and lovely roses. Now the roses, as I say, you can either stamp them and colour them and cut them out, same with the leaves. You have dies to cut all of these out. The roses, the leaves, the little bits of flowers, really works well. I've gone ahead and cut the flowers from the DSP already, so that we have them ready to use. So I've just got them tucked in here, and as you can see it's just the flowers cut out from the DSP and the leaves. So I'm just going to put those over there. We're going to have to bring in the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Now as I say, there's a way, an order to this. If we embossed first using the embossing folder and then ran the cardstock through again to cut this out, it would flatten the embossing, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to cut this piece out first and then emboss what's left. So let me just get this out. Whoops. Put that over there. I'll bring in the cut and emboss machine. I'll just show you half of it on my table so you can see it coming out of the machine. So because this is a die, a thin die, we need the shim, which is plate number 2. Okay, so we've got plate number 1, which is your really thick base plate, plate number 2, one of the number 3s, and then your cardstock with your die, and then the second plate. Now I'm going to just use a little bit of washi tape and tape this down because I don't want it to move, and I'm just lining it up on my card. We're going to run it through, straighten up and stagger my plates. Here it comes. Now I'm going to bring it back just because there's a lot of little pieces to cut out here. Might even do it twice and then I'll be able to just flick the pieces out. Okay, we're going to move this for a second. Let's bring this over. We'll work on here if we can, and that'll catch all the little pieces. So we're going to peel this off very carefully and slowly because that's going to be excuse me, the front of the card. There we go. Just set that there. Because I've got some little pieces that are still in there, I'm going to just scoop all this into the garbage, and then I'm going to bring in my trusty foam pad and my little brush, this foam pad here, and my brush, and you'll see that all of these last pieces will just pop right out. You can be quite firm with this. I was always very careful with this piece, with this brush, because I always thought, oh, it's going to tear my card and everything. But you know, it never once has, touch wood. It's always the first time, but it hasn't done it up till now. So there's the piece we've just cut out, and it makes a really pretty background. Let's get rid of all the little chibbles here. So then, just to give it a little more pizzazz or a little more dimension, we're now going to emboss this piece so that we get some nice flowers on this side as well. And as I say, we're going to use the Pretty Flowers embossing folder. I'll just put that in here like this, carefully. Like that. Bring the big cut and emboss machine back. Now because we're doing, this time we're doing an embossing folder, we don't need the shim. We just, we do, let me look. Standard embossing folder, we don't need the shim, we need the big plate, we need number 3 plates, which are your clear plates again, but you don't need the shim in there. So let me put one plate down and make sure that's straight in there. Second plate down, and here it comes again. Right. Get rid of this. So there we have a piece that we have cut out with a die, and then we've embossed it too for a little more texture, and it really is pretty, really is pretty. You can see the beautiful deep flowers there. It's lovely. So there it goes, nice. Now you can use it whichever way you like. You could put it on your card this way, but I think I like the part that stands up the best, so that's the way I'm going to make my card. So on to making the card. We have this piece going on the front of the card here, just like that, lined up straight, of course. And then we've got some flowers and leaves here, as I say, which I had already cut out just to save time. So let me get my little mat out. And we have a sentiment as well, which is from the Hues of Happiness suite, which we're going to stamp in just a minute on a piece of scrap card. And we're going to put the sentiment going this way on the card, also on an angle to sort of follow the pattern. Now, yes, let me get the roses on first, then we'll decide whether we're putting the sentiment on the front of the card or inside of the card. So let me just turn that over, find a handy dandy tape on it now. I need to be careful here. I'm going to put my hand right over this because I don't want this to tear with if it gets caught on the tape runner. Okay, so but I do want some adhesive going right down that side because I want that really stuck down nicely on my card. And rather than pick this up every time, I'm just going around the edge of the card, but I'm turning the mat to go around the edges of the card instead of picking the card up and turning it every time. Now I know that I've gone way off the edges of this card so with the adhesive, so I'm just going to run my thumb around and that'll catch and tip any adhesive. And you see, I don't think you can see it, but I've got some adhesive sort of poking through the holes on the edge there as well. So let me just see a little bit there. I can see. You can't see it, but I can see it when the light catches it. So if you make this card, just watch for that. And let's put that out of the way. Make sure I've got no adhesive on my hands. Turn my card this way. And just smooth it out very gently. You will feel little pieces of adhesive, and you can run your finger down the side, and they will eventually all pick up and roll. If you roll like this, you're sort of rolling all the adhesive into one ball, and you can just scoop it off the end of the card like that. There. So then we're going to put these flowers up on dimensionals, but I think the leaves should be sort of glued to the back of the flowers. Can't get that one. So we're going to place the flowers where we think they should go. Oops. Put the yellow one in the middle, or will we put the red one in the middle? I don't know. So they're going to go sort of down the diagonal on the card like that. Still got glue there. There. So they're going to go down the diagonal, but I have some leaves here that I've cut out, and I want to tuck the leaves in strategic places, so I'm going to glue these leaves to the back of the flowers. So sometimes you have to play a little bit with your leaves. We've got 5 leaves and 3 flowers. I think I'm going to stop there. Yes, I think I'll stop there. So I have to now remember where my leaves are going. So this one is going on the back of here. So a little bit of glue on the back of this, on the front of the leaf, because it's going on the back of the flower. This leaf glued to here. You see, with my left hand I'm marking the spot on the flower where the leaf's going to go. Just like that. I've got this deeper pink flower and the leaf's going to go there. So let's have a look. We've got those. We need this leaf here tucked onto the back of the yellow flower again. Alright, there, so they go right across the diagonal on the card, and we've still got room if we want to put a sentiment here. We could put it on a white flag, but let's get some dimensionals on these flowers. Lift this flower up and tuck this in, and I want this leaf pointing right into the corner right there. That'll go there. Oh, I think the yellow one's going on top of this like this. We're going to have them coming down like a cascade is what we're going to do. So we'll just put some dimensionals on this one as well. We need to be sure that we're not putting a dimensional here, because that would tip the flower up way too much. So I'm putting my finger there so I don't put a dimensional there, because it's going to sit on top of the other flower like that. There. And then this flower here, these leaves here are going to go into this corner just like that. So they follow the line of the diagonal down. So there again, we don't want a dimensional here. So I'm going to put my finger there. But we do want dimensionals everywhere else. Leaves tucked down into the corner. I think we can use a dimensional tucked in there, I really do. Just stick one on the back. There we go. So there, you've got, that's a very pretty card. You've got a little bit of lattice, if you will, in this corner. You've got some embossed flowers here. You've got three flowers, beautiful roses going down from the Hues of Happiness set. And we've got a sentiment, and the sentiment says happy birthday. Now I could put it in a flash in that corner, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to leave the front of the card as it is, because it's very pretty. You can see the embossing, see the lattice and see the flowers, and I think we'll stamp the sentiment on the inside. And we're going to use Tahitian Tide, and that's the colour of the this piece here. Tahitian Tide is what it is. So let me apply that down straight. Happy birthday, it says. And we'll just get a nice happy birthday in there. As always, it's my own design. If you would like to copy this card, please say where you learned how to do it or where you saw it first made. And if you sell your cards, please put the Stampin' Up! Angel stamp on your cards. Just say all the supplies used are Stampin' Up! Supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. Bye.